straight from the hospitality room at Swarthmore College. This is the Garnet Sports Update. Today's guest from the men's lacrosse team, senior goalkeeper Kevin Friedenberg. And here he is, the one, the only, your host, Victor Brady.
Hello and welcome back to the Garnet Sports Update after a long spring break. I'm Victor Brady. We begin today's show with a recap of the last week in Swarthmore athletics. The Garnet baseball team swept two doubleheaders over the weekend on Saturday at Vassar and at home on Sunday against the University of Maine Presque Isle. Their record now stands at 7-6 on the year. Men's lacrosse lost two heartbreakers last week, falling in overtime 8-7 at Ursinus, before falling 7-6 at home against number 10 Dickinson, that on Saturday. Women's lacrosse defeated Moravian 17-5 on Thursday before falling on the road at Washington College by the same score on Saturday. Softball went 4-2 on the week, sweeping a doubleheader at home against Penn State Abington, falling in a doubleheader at Elizabethtown, and then sweeping a doubleheader on Saturday at Penn State U, Berks. Men's tennis team dropped a 5-4 decision to the College of New Jersey. Women's tennis team defeated Gettysburg 7-2, their second win to no losses in Centennial Conference play. And the Garnet Performers of the Week, senior swimmer Ann Miller, who won two more All-American titles. She has 7 for her Swarthmore career. And junior All-American women's basketball player Catherine Stockbauer, who was named to the Division III Honorable Mention team. Catherine Stockbauer will be taking our Phoenix from the Set to Germany as she studies abroad over the summer. We're joined now by senior All-American goalie for men's lacrosse, Kevin Friedenberg. Kevin, welcome to the Garnet Sports Update.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, when did you decide that you wanted to be a lacrosse goaltender?
The way that story happened, funny story actually. I played attack, from about 6th grade until sophomore year of high school. And before my sophomore season of high school, it was clear that I wasn't really going places as an attackman. So basically, our high school varsity coach told me that I could sort of make a decision to stay as an attackman or potentially have a shot at making the varsity level as a goalie. So, being the insecure sophomore I was, I naturally decided that I was going to switch positions for a shot at making the big times, and, haven't looked back since.
So, you tell your parents that you're going to put your body on the line to keep a vulcanized rubber ball out of the goal. What was their first reaction?
Oh, they were not happy about that. That was a pretty stressful time in the house, I'd say. They'd have, various people come try to convince me to, reconsider what I had done, but overall, I think they grew into it. I wouldn't say they love it. It's still hard for them. My parents, I'll see them, look away every now and then, and they used to say they wouldn't watch. So it was tough for them, as any parents for their child would be. But overall, I think they've grown to love it.
What's the worst injury you've ever had from saving a lacrosse ball?
I wouldn't say I've had, knock on wood, too many tremendous injuries. There are certain areas I like to get hit more than others naturally, but I would say the collarbone is probably my least favorite. Getting hit in the collarbone, that's a pretty good stinger.
So if someone's coming in on you at the ball, what are you looking for when they're about to shoot? Are you watching the stick and the angle? Are you waiting until the ball comes out? What's your reaction?
There's a couple things I like to do. I don't want to get too much into head fakes or stick fakes because ultimately, I do want to follow the stick, but a lot of the players coming in, 1-on-0, they're going to throw a lot of stick fakes. So, I always say I'd rather be lucky than good. So I sort of, I don't even know, it's just sort of a split-second thing. I try to guess, where they're shooting based on, where their elbow is, where their stick's faking, and then sort of, at that point it's all about reaction time and a little bit of guesswork. So, a little bit of luck never hurt also.
Sure. So I've actually just started playing a little bit of hockey goalie, which I imagine is at least somewhat similar to lacrosse. So I'm hoping that you can come out into our field house and show me or give me some tips about how to be a better lacrosse goalie. So we're here now in the Lamb Miller Fieldhouse. Kevin, I've never played any form of lacrosse before, so what would you like me to do here?
Why don't before we go into the particulars of teaching, why don't we have you hop in, a little trial by fire, do some cold turkey. How's that sound?
All right, let's try it.
Sounds good. All right, you ready to go?
Let's go. Well, the post helped me out there on the last one, so wasn't doing too well. What do I have to fix?
I would say the most basic two things you need to do are, one is you need to get a nice athletic stance with your hands out away from your body. The reason being, your hands basically control everything. If your hands are nice out away from your body, when you go to make that save, you're not giving up as many rebounds, you're going to be having your hips will basically follow your hands. The other thing, the most important thing is definitely stepping to every shot. It's sort of counterintuitive because you want to get away from the speeding rubber, but you want to make sure you take a nice sort of step out to every ball. That way you're attacking the shot. On a bounce shot, you're cutting it off at the point of the bounce. So I would say the two most important principles of playing goalie are keeping your hands nice and away from your body and stepping to every shot.
Okay, so why don't I take a couple shots on you, see how you do in goal, and try to go from there.
Sounds good, let's do it.
Hey, you ready?
Sure. So now you know the tricks of the trade. You ready to try it again?
Let's try again.
Let's take care of it.
So I don't think my form was particularly good there, but I kept a couple of them out.
Yeah, definitely much better than the first round.
Okay, you ready for some rapid fire?
Hit me with it.
March Madness pick.
Northern Iowa.
Favorite color?
Red.
One food you like to have at Sharples?
Jerk chicken.
If you're watching the Red Sox, what one pitcher do you like to see?
Tim Wakefield.
And best class that you've taken here at Swarthmore College?
The history of reading.
That was Kevin Friedenberg, our senior All-American goalie here for the men's lacrosse team at Swarthmore College. To conclude this week's show, we turn an eye towards the next week in Swarthmore Garnet Athletics. Baseball defeated Widener on Wednesday before visiting Muhlenberg on Friday. They then return home for a doubleheader with McDaniel before hosting Penn State Brandywine on Sunday. Golf will be at McDaniel on Saturday, and Sunday men's lacrosse was defeated by Franklin and Marshall on Wednesday before traveling to Muhlenberg on Saturday. On the women's side, softball has a doubleheader with Widener on Thursday before visiting Dickinson on Saturday. Women's lacrosse hosting Gwynedd Mercy on Thursday, playing at Gettysburg on Saturday. Men's and women's tennis will be at McDaniel on Saturday. The men will then host Washington and Lee on Sunday. And finally, the men's and women's outdoor track teams will run at Widener over the weekend, Friday and Saturday. It's sure to be a very busy week down here in the Swarthmore Athletic Department, and certainly will be extremely exciting as well. Thank you so much for joining us here this week on the Garnet Sports Update. For everyone here at the Garnet Sports Network and the Swarthmore Athletic Department, I'm Victor Brady, saying so long from the Lamb Miller Fieldhouse and wishing everyone a great week.
The Garnet Sports Update is brought to you by the Garnet Sports Network.